Hang on one sec. Let's just see if anyone else is out there waiting, and no one at the moment. All right, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and talk. So welcome everyone. My name is Kerwin McKenzie, and I am the technology chair of the Black Travel Alliance. And what we wanted to do was welcome to the first episode of Tech Team Talkline. So we figured people would have tech issues, and Donna Kay and LJ and myself, we're tech geeks. So we thought, let's have a session. Let's see how we can help you guys with your tech questions. So welcome. LJ, you can go to the next slide. All right, so just in terms of an agenda, we're planning going for maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on how exciting things get. And so we're going to do a little introduction so you guys know who we are. And then we'll talk about 3 pages every blog needs. And then we'll do a little hot seat. Now, we didn't get any volunteers for the hot seat, so we're going to have to pick you guys. So, and then we'll have an open Q&A. So what I'd like everyone to do is if you can put in the chat the actual URL, so with the HTTP or https://www dot whatever your website is, if you can put that in the chat, that would be good for us. In addition to that, also put your Instagram URL. Now, the reason why it's good to put the entire URL and not just your username is because the chat doesn't allow you to click on that. So if you put the entire URL, we can just click on it and go to your pages easily, and people can actually click on it and go to your Instagram URL very easily, and then they can follow you or check you out and things like that. So don't just put at whatever, put https colon / www.instagram.com/royalty travels in my case. And if it's your URL, you can put www.http. You have to put http because if you don't, then it doesn't work. http colon / www.blacktravelalliance.com or whatever your website is. So go ahead and put those in so we can see those. And LJ, if you can flip, I'll do the introduce myself in the meantime. So actually, we'll let Donna Kay go first. Since she's first on the list. Ladies first, of course, right? I would not be a good gentleman if I didn't do
Such a
that.
gentleman, yeah. Hi. So hi guys, my name is Donna K. Delahaye and my blog is hughesofdelahaye.com, and I basically write about day trips and weekend city breaks or European weekend city breaks. And I am also a photographer and I have a YouTube channel. I will be dropping my URLs as Kerwin instructed below. And I'm really happy to be here. And I'm so happy to see so many like girls on the chat and people from London, the first time ever, like London people outnumber USA people on any webinar I've been at.
I think it's a conspiracy, but it's all good. It's all good. We love it. Thank you, Donna Kay. And Donna Kay is on the tech team, and so a lot of the updates and stuff you see going on in the background, we all help to do that. LJ?
Yeah, hi everyone. LJ or Leslie Johnson. My blog is That Couple Travels, and I write that blog with my wife. We do, I guess, couples travel and date ideas around the world. Just trying, we figure it's always hard to find date ideas, I guess for ourselves when we're looking. So figure we'd try and gather them ourselves and share them with people. We do a lot of our I guess our social media, I guess, is on Instagram and also under That Couple Travels, along with our blog.
All right, very cool.
And
Now,
I'm not based in London. I'm outside New York City.
it's kind of funny, however, disclaimer, I'm not based in London. um, oh, excellent, LJ. And LJ is like, he's really, really good at tech. He knows how to dig stuff up. So, and he's also very good at research. So if there's something that we can't figure out on the call, we will go and figure it out for you. So don't, one of the things that we don't want anyone to feel like they're asking a silly question, because the only silly question is the one you didn't ask. tech is really weird and things will work right now and 2 minutes later it won't work. And we saw a lot of that when we lost power in Houston this week. So I'm Kerwin. I run a whole bunch of websites. Thank you, LJ. Discoveringhhouston.net is one of them. And I'm here based in Houston, originally from Jamaica. Worked for the airlines for, I don't know, about 17 and a half years for 3 or 4 different airlines. Last one was Continental/United. And I'm an aviation geek and I love tech. So welcome. All right, LJ, can you switch to the next screen? Let's see what that one is. All right, so what we wanted to do first is talk about 3 pages every blog needs. Now, if some of you might have gotten emails from us when we reviewed some of the websites before, and one of the 3 things that we have 3 pages and we're gonna talk about those 3 pages. So first, we're gonna talk about the About page. And Donna Kay, ready to take it away?
Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm sure you all have heard, oh, you need an About Me page or an About page. And a lot of people, when they, LJ, if you can go to my About page, a lot of people, they will do the bare minimum on their About page. But something that you need to realize is that people actually visit your About page to read about you. So some of the things that you really need to have on your About page is a photo of you facing the camera, not your head back. So people can see you, recognize you, and connect with you. Human beings like to connect with other human beings. They can see, oh, is this my type of guy or is this my type of girl, where they're interested enough in you to follow you on Instagram. So you definitely need to have a photo that presents your face to camera and like should have also have the essence of your blog and who you are. You should have your why to say what kind of niche you're in and what you're going to be writing about, so people know what they're getting from your About page, and also who you are. With my About page, I have a lot of things on it. And if you slide down, I have a how you pronounce my name, because people always get that wrong. So that's a fun little fact. So people, when they will meet me, they will say, oh, you're Delahaye or Delahoy, and I would just say, oh, this is how you pronounce my name. I also have like FAQs, because again, your About Me page should be a bit extension of your personality. So I kind of answer, people always ask me where I'm born. They always think I'm French. So I say, oh, I'm an island gal, I'm born in Jamaica. I also state why I started to travel, like what gear, why I started my blog and what gear I use. And also that's a good insight for other companies who will come and check you out. If you're going to pitch to them, they can see, oh, this is a loyal person, they're already using our gears, and so on and so forth. So I have it here, like my gear, photos I take or by me, any other external link, I have it there. So these are some of the stuff that you should be incorporating in your About Me page. Also, because I do photography, I also have some of my images there to showcase my photography style. So your About Me page should explain who you are, who your blog is for, why you start blogging, any kind of gear that you're like, oh, this is a brand I want to work with, say, oh, like you want to showcase that you're using their products already. And also anyone who's following you and comes to read your About Me page, they can also see the gear that you're using. I also have my media kit there and places I've traveled. So your About Me page should incorporate your style and your flair and how you want to be represent your brand and how you want your brand to be seen. So I'm from the Caribbean, I like a lot of colors and so on forth. So I try to incorporate that in the aesthetic of my About Me page. So people know when they're coming to my blog, they're gonna get vibrancy and a lot of color and fun. So these are things that you can incorporate into your About Me page. And how you can do the Canva, like that embed, you can just do that from the free Canva account that they have. So those are some of the things that you should be incorporating and thinking about when you are constructing your About Me page. You can also go onto other bloggers' blog and look at how they construct their About Me page and critique it on what you like, and take the things that you like and incorporate them in your About Me page. So that's what I would say, Kerwin. Do you have anything to add, or LJ, do you have anything to add that you thought I missed out?
I thought that was really good, Donna Kay. I don't think, yeah, no, you said it all. One of the most important things is the photo, like she talked about. You really, the back of the head photo thing doesn't work.
It works for Instagram, but you want PR people to know who you are. And there's a lot of ladies on here. I'm sure like travel is lifestyle. So you also want to incorporate what you're wearing. If you're going to reach out, if you're traveling and you're going to reach out to a clothes brand, they want to see how you look, what kind of style you have. So if all we're seeing is the back of your head, unless you're doing a shampoo commercial, it's like, it's not going to get you anywhere.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So if people can put in the chat, if you have an about page, let us know. Just say yes, and also if you have an about page with a photo of yourself on it, let us know if you have one too.
And another thing you can put on your About Me page is like who you've collabed with, like brands you've partnered with. You can just put their logo, their company logos there. So I've put like here, I've shown the partnership without really saying, oh, I've done with X, Y, and Z brand. But all that is incorporated. Any awards you might have won or been nominated for, publication that you might have been featured in. Those are things that you can put on your About Me page. And they're basically kind of establishing yourself without saying, so that someone comes on your website and know that, oh, this person is serious, they've been collabed with these companies and reputable companies, so they know you're about your business, and it's just showing that without even saying it.
All right, very well. And I see that some folks are typing in that they have their about page. Natalie says, really bad photo. Come on, Natalie, how could you take a bad photo? No, but I hear you. I hear you on that. All right, great. So I think that's all we had for the about page. Did anyone have any questions just about the about page before we jumped on? And if you do, just feel free to unmute yourself and just ask anything that comes to your mind at the moment. I think might be helpful. See, everyone is still shy. All right, it's all good. All right, so can we switch to so the privacy policy page. Now, this is one of the more important pages that you should have on your website. Everyone these days are very concerned about data privacy, and so people want to know, what are you doing with my data when you get it? If you have something like a newsletter, usually the newsletter companies will give you, they'll give you some code and some links, and then that will take care of stuff like, so if you have a website and I call you and I come up to you and said, yeah, I'm just gonna pick on the first name that I see, which is Adelia. If we send you an email and say, hey, Adelia, can you remove my data? By the privacy policies by the GDPR, which is the European data privacy, you should have a way of removing all my data. Now, the newsletter people, they really help you do that, but you should be able to delete every information from that person, and you should be able to send them an email that says, I've deleted all your data, and we're clear. The privacy policy is what says all that, and we'll show you the Black Chapel Alliance one in just a bit. One of the more important things is GDPR, which is the Data Privacy Act of the EU. And I think it was it 2018, I think it was, they came out with this. And we had to go in and do a lot of changes. So you all should check that URL, which is gdpr.eu/privacy-notice, and go read up on that and make sure your privacy policy talks about that. As small businesses or a small website, it doesn't really affect us that much, but the larger businesses do. You probably see it, but don't notice it in action. If you go to some websites, you'll see a little thing that comes up and says, accept my privacy policy. That is actually coming from the GDPR side of things. Now, California has something very similar, which is the California Consumer Privacy Act. And that's where it's the same thing where you need to give people notice. The first thing you always have to do in any of these privacy things is you have to give someone notice. And the privacy policy, so for your homework, I really stress to go and read those two pieces, and you can see what is it that I guess that's important in terms of privacy. The other thing about a privacy policy, it tells people exactly what you're doing with the data. And one of the most important things is got to have a last updated date. And it also needs to have a link that will say people can contact you. So LJ, if you just show the BTA's privacy policy for a sec. And there you go. And if you're looking for some type of template, you can look at our privacy policy here. The last time was updated was June 6, 2020, which is when the BTA was formed. And it just goes in and it just tells you what personal identification is collected, what organizations are collecting the information. Because what happens is that sometimes we use some software and that software will collect data as well. And Elder, you can scroll through it some more. But just run through here and you can see, it tells you what cookies are. This is standard stuff. So you'll see most websites will have something very, very similar to this. But the key thing is on here, you need to have a way. So like where it says, how can visitors correct any accurate information? You need to have a way for visitors to be able to do that. LJ, keep scrolling down. And so it just gives you can just go through and take a look at this and it gives you an idea. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. Our email address is feedback@blacktravelalliance.com. So feel free to email us and ask us any questions about the privacy policy. And okay, so here's a question now. Who has a privacy policy on their website at the moment? Everyone's thinking, everyone's scared. All right, I see Donna Kay, of course. All right, so all right, Biss. So we need to get you set up with your privacy policy. I see Natalia said she does. She had to check. That's good. That's what we're here for. We're trying to get, and these are the things that we don't think of, right? But it's the things that we should have. So that's why we thought we would have this session. And Cheryl is saying she'll have one when it goes live. Okay, perfect. All right. So LJ, we can. Oh, did anyone have any questions on privacy policies? Why they're important. Who cares? Shamia says she never thought about it. Well, good. Well, thank you for showing up today. So I'm glad we were able to at least let you know that it exists out there. All right, good. So LJ, you want to do the next bit?
Yeah.
Work with me.
So, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next page we have is the Work With Me page. So the About Me page is kind of like, like a hi, my name is, while I would say like the Work With Me page is kind of like your elevator pitch. It's a way for you to let people, or I guess brands that you want to work with, let them know like what kind of things do you provide, can you provide them? But then also it's a way for you to let them know what you could, I guess, your stats, what you, I guess also is like what you can provide for them, but also I guess what you've done, I guess, as a content creator. You also want your media kit to be present on your Work With Me page, so that they can get that information. It's kind of, I guess, it's kind of similar to when you, I guess, when you're job searching, and so sometimes you do like you provide the references up front. It's kind of like providing that information for them up front, so they don't have to, cause any kind of like friction or delay as far as them like wanting to kind of proceed with things. Then you also want to provide your rates if you have those. I know some people, sometimes some people will provide like the actual numbers and some will provide like, upon like request, but you want to have something on your page to kind of reference that, and then a way for them to contact you. I know sometimes you can do like a contact form or an email address. Here are a couple of examples. I know we can glance real quick at Donna Kay's once again. So
I
she
think
had,
it's down at the bottom, like in the mid by the middle of this page. Mhm.
And so that's one of the things that you can sometimes create
you
a
just
specific page, or you can make your Work With Me page a part of the About page.
Yeah, just up a bit more, LJ.
up a
Up,
bit.
yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, you're seeing it now.
oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm trying to
So
figure
you
out.
just need to, yeah.
So
So yeah,
scroll.
yeah.
Uh, sorry, I'm gonna make this smaller so you can actually see. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So you can see. So this is Donna K's. Well, I guess you can speak on it. Donna K, do you want to speak on it? Or?
Oh, so yeah, this is my a very brief media kit. So I tell them what my blog is about, again, why, what I cover, what they can get from me, and I also show my audience. So whatever kind of platform you're the strongest on, I would suggest put numbers, because brands want ROIs. I give the breakdown of the country, the sex, and I give my top performing content. And this means that I can pitch to brands whether via video or via written word. And then, yeah, if you go that way, yeah, then you'll see, oh, what I can do, what I've done before, and the brand that I've worked with. So it can be as brief as that, because when you send them that, you're kind of going into a dialect with the PR person or the brand, and then you can expand on all these kind of subtopic in your media kit. And yeah, I don't have a rate on it. A rate is always up for discussion and negotiation. So
That's okay. You don't always have to have a rate. Some people put their rates out there. I didn't include an example, but there's like another blog in the UK that have their rates, and I've seen some of our members actually have their rates in. But you don't have to put your
yeah.
rates.
And your rates can change based on the actual project. Like, is it per hour or per the length of the project? Is it video? Is it written? All these things will be very different. So that's something that, again, can always be negotiated between yourself, the brand, or the PR company that you're going to be pitching to.
All right,
Corinne, did you want to talk about your?
yeah, sure. And so this is my Work With Me page. This is probably the goofiest pitch I've ever taken. And so I thought I'd throw that in there. I was working with, I think it was Visit Sweden on that one. And the guy on the other side, he's the one that drives that train. And he was even so funny. I was sleeping and he came back and took a picture of me, which you guys will not see. So, it's good to have a kind of a fun picture out there. You can keep going, LJ. My website has a table of contents, so it'll give you an idea of all the information that's in there. And so I just, put Working With Me. I have another picture. I put how many page views I get on the site annually, the top 10 regions that people come from. And then I give a list of the things that I will speak about. And I have a little about me after that. And I have that video. I was actually on TV here in Houston a few years ago. And this is a link to that video that's there. And then below, if you go down a little more, LJ, there's how to work with me. It's kind of telling you an idea. So I do airline service reviews. I can be a brand ambassador for your brand. Hotel reviews. This is from a hotel in Laredo in Mexico. And I do press trips. So basically you're just telling people what it is that you do and how they can work with you. That's the whole idea behind having that.
And having videos are always good. It allows people to have a good, I guess, not perception, but it gets to know you a little better than just words on a page.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with having a video on your page too is that it increases the amount of time people spend on your website, which is always good for the SEOs and things like that, search engine optimization. And so I just threw some pictures in from things I've done. And then I think somewhere on there, I have a link to some of the projects that I've worked on. And it's always a work in progress because I need to go update a lot of those links So, and then I have a little statistic thing, which I just take from Google. And then I have, all the Facebook fans and Instagram fans. So there are different ways to do them. I'm a text guy. Donna K and LJ loves graphics. So it just depends on what you want to do. But the key thing is to make sure you have the information available. Can we take a look at Tomiko's?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And this one is for our co-chair of Tomiko Harvey. She's our co-chair for what's it? Partnerships.
Oh, sorry.
BTA Partnerships co-chair. And see, she takes a slightly different approach. She's got a little video that I'm telling people why they should work with you. And if you keep scrolling, then she has another work with me section, and she has a little description. She shows a picture of this is from one of the places that she reviewed. So you get an idea of the kind of work that she'll give. She has her hashtag that she uses. She kind of goes through and describes individuals' previous trip sponsors include, and she's giving you a whole list of stuff. So you have a good idea of what it is. She has a photo of herself so you can see what she looks like. She has like a little slogan. And he tells you what the audience is. So I hope you'll get in the idea of, although the pages look different, they convey similar information. And then she has her stats, so you can always see her stats. And so usually what you try to do is you try to put the stats that you have, the best stats first, because that's usually what people look for. And numbers are an annoying thing, right? Because everybody's always looking for numbers. But one thing you can add in here too is if you have traffic to your website, like I did, I put that in. So my social is not strong, but the traffic to the website is really strong. So I put that in. And if you have a newsletter, put your newsletter subscribers in. So that's very good to do that.
I'll interject with what Kerwin just said. I'll just piggyback off that. You do that, like if you know that your website is more stronger than your social, you will put that in, because brands at different time of the year are looking for different things. So if they want awareness and they don't want longevity, maybe they will go with people who have high or strong social numbers. But if they want something that is going to be found next year, they might go with you, because they can see that, okay, you know your SEO, you know what you're doing, your brand is getting traffic, and you're getting traffic from the people that they want to maybe buy or see their product. So that's how you need to think of it. Whatever you're strongest on, promote that most.
And sometimes some brands would, even when they could be on the fence about you with one platform, the second one would be nice. It's like a nice to have. So it's also good to, if they want to work with your Instagram, but then they're happy to also get a blog post out of it. That can also help your opportunities of working with them.
Good deal. Was it all you had, LJ?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did anyone have any comments? Does anyone have have such a page on their site, a work with me page at least? You just say yes or no, or I'm working on it. Yeah, we just kind of want to have feedback so we don't think that we're talking to ourselves. All right, Debbie's working on it. That's good. Cheryl's working on it. Well, good. And David has one. And so the good thing is now you guys have in my media kit, it's not on the website. So in your case, Nadine, you could probably have just a link to your media kit somewhere. Let me just admit mine's coming in. So it's good. I'm new, so hold on, Sherry. I'm missing your comment. It's gone. Hang on. I have this weird computer and it doesn't show when things scroll. It's not scrolling down.
He says I'm working on it. I'm new, so I don't have stats. Do you have socials?
You can still show your your audience stats.
Yeah.
The percentage of with a breakdown of where your audience is coming from.
Yeah.
And so, Sharmi, I guess I could ask, do you have any Google Analytics or do you have any type of analytics for your website? You can unmute and let us know.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you wanted me to type it. I have some, they're not the strongest, so I'm wondering if it's worth putting it out there.
So when you say it's not the strongest, what do you mean?
Like, I mean, I'm not expecting, like I said, because I just started writing last year, so I mean, like, I'm not expecting like super high numbers. Like, I don't know, like they're like in the 50s, like how many views I get on certain articles. And I'm sure like that's not like the highest number, but for me, that sounds pretty good for only being a year out. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that's worth putting it out, like publicly putting it out there compared to like if someone emails me and asks me, if that makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Donna K, you're thinking. What are you thinking?
I think, babes, when I started, I was maybe getting like 3,000 a month. I used to put that on my media kit because when you go back to update your media kit, it will surprise you how much your blog has grown, and it's something to work towards. Also, you're showing people, oh, at least I'm getting traffic. Like,
Yeah.
so we have to start somewhere, and you're a new blogger, so your blog will grow. If you don't want to put your Google Analytics, maybe you are stronger on social. So maybe you put your Instagram numbers or your Pinterest numbers, whichever number you have your highest, that's what you lead with. Because obviously that's where your audience is, and that's where you can tap into whatever brand is going to be kind of working with you for. That's where you can promote it the most effectively. So I would lead with whatever my highest number is, and then you can always work on what is low now, and by next year get that up.
Yeah. Does that help? Does that help, Sharmi?
Yeah, but say when you put it like that, that does make sense. You do gotta start somewhere. I know it'd be hard to think like you gotta start somewhere. You be looking around like, ooh, all these numbers is big.
Yeah, and it's so difficult, right? Because you see people like like some thousands of followers, and you're like, okay, I don't have that much. What do I do now? So yeah, it is a bit intimidating. But again, that's kind of why we're here, right? Because I mean, maybe what you can do is whenever you have, like maybe you can combine with another blogger, right, and do like a collaborative pitch or something like that.
Yeah, and another thing you can do when your numbers are small is like I used to say, oh, what are you looking for? Are you looking for engagement on social, or are you looking for a written content that is SEO effective? So that shows you, by putting that forward, it shows you that you know what you're doing, and you can, based on what their brand's response is, you can pivot and say, actually, oh, I have more engagement on social, even though I'm small, my engagement is over 10%, and run with that. And if they say, oh, we want SEO, we really like SEO content, or we want a written post, you can say, oh, I have this amount of traffic per month, so this is how much I can charge you for a blog post. So it's basically you're asking to put whatever stats you have and whatever is your best stat, you're going to put that forward, and you ask the brand if it's engagement or if it's longevity, or if it's brand awareness, is it engagement or and stuff like that. So based on their criteria and based on what they're looking for, they might say, yeah, all we want is like brand awareness. So they don't really want anyone to click over. They just want to make sure that people are seeing their brand logo or becoming aware about their brand on social. So even if you have a small audience, brands will still run with you with that.
Okay, does that help, Sharmi?
Yeah, that does. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, very cool. Does anyone else have any comments about work with me and that we haven't addressed yet? All right, you're living in a quiet group. That's okay. All right, so we're going to talk about the contact page. Now, it's like when you go, if you think about it, when you go to like a conference, right? People want to get in touch with you, and at a conference you have business cards, or way back in the old days we used to bump phones together. I don't think that app works anymore, but that was out there at some point. Or now everyone is just giving your social handles or something like that, and you type in your Instagram and you're there. So your website is very similar, when people come to your website and they have a question, they need somehow to get in touch with you. The best way to do that is to just use a contact page. Now, you use a form instead of your email address, because a lot of these spammers, they have software that will scan the emails for a@b.com, and they know that's an email address, and then you're on their emails forever. And you can't unsubscribe because they're spammers and they don't give you a way to unsubscribe. So now you get all this junk email coming through. I think the weird thing is, over the last 3 or 4 days, when I didn't have a chance of checking my email, I got about almost 800 junk emails. And I have to go through them because some of my real emails show up in there. And I know these spammers are just terrible out there. So using a form is good. And when you use a form, you actually, and LJ, can you go to one of the forms so we can just show that? You can go to mine, and then we can look at Donna K's after. And there's a bunch of software out there that does that. So I'm using WordPress, and I know most of you are using WordPress, or you might be using Squarespace or Wix or one of those. They too have some type of contact form on there, and it's very simple. You're just asking for name, email address, some type of subject, and a message, and they send the message. What's going on in the back end of this is that you're saying, the software is picking up all this information and it's going to email it to you, and then you see it in your mailbox. And then the thing too is that you really need to respond to people when they send you an email. You will get spam because it's just out there, but you do have to go through it and weed those out. And maybe we can take a look at is it Donna K's was the other example? And the reason why we're showing you all these examples is so you can go back and you can see how these examples work. And Donna K has a picture on there, and then she's got the same similar fields. There is something that we have, like we use WP Forms to create the form. There's also I think it's called Contact 7, which is a WordPress plugin that will do that for you. The forms are really cool because you can do a lot of things in the back end of the forms. And when I say the back end, is that you can tell the forms if it's this, send it to this. If it's that, send it to that. And WP Forms and Formidable Forms are two forms that you can use. And all of these software, they have free versions. And if you want to get fancy, then you can spend more. We have a page, it's a resource page. It's Black Travel Alliance/resource. And if you go to that page, you'll get some link to some of the tools and the forms that we use. I think that was the last thing we had on the forms. Yeah, that was the last example that we have. So any questions about having a contact page and why it's important to have a contact page? And don't hide it. It should be like in your navigation so people can see that. And it's really, it's like you saying, I don't want to hear from my customers, which is never good, right? And it's always good to put something as. And I always recommend a picture, like Donna K has a really nice picture on there, so that's really good. All right, so that was a contact us. Was that the last one? Yes, that was the last one. Okay, so now here's the fun part. Oh, did anyone have any questions on the contact us page? You can unmute yourself if you had a question. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the hot seats. Now, the idea behind the hot seat is so that we can help you. So don't be scared. There is only, 16 of us on here. The idea is that we just want to see what your website looks like, and then we'll give you tips on how to improve it. Or it may be good and we're done. We don't have to do anything. And we'll let you know that as well. So we normally have, well, let's see, it's 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes to the hour. So why don't we see who's going to go first, and then we kind of determine how many we're going to have. Okay, so we need a volunteer.
I'll go.
All right, Nadine, thank you. Well done, well done.
I'll
All
take the feedback. Thank you.
All right, there you go. See, we were debating if this was going to really, if anyone was going to step up. So thank you, Nadine. We appreciate it. Am I calling your name correct?
Well,
Am I-
you're Jamaican, so you can say it.
All right,
Um,
there we go. That's my sister's name, so I better be doing it properly. Oh, that's funny. All
Do you
right.
want me to put my website in the chat again,
Yes,
or?
please. Yeah, put your website in the chat.
Is it global local
Yes.
format?
Mhm. Yes.
All right, great. So maybe what you can do is, while LJ is pulling that up, kind of tell us, a little bit about you and what your website does and what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. So I'm in the process of editing my website right now. So I just broke apart my website. So I do a lot of different things. So it's kind of hard, and I'm trying to work down like how I'm trying to project myself. But in the past, um, I do a lot of different things. So I would just say that my company is it's an interactive culinary education company. We specialize in experiential Epicurean events. And so that can happen in a regular cooking class, but then I also do experiential events. I've worked with Jamaica Tourist Board and, Tobago Jazz Festival. So I do things like that, but then um, I'm known for my teaching and my plant-based work.
Mhm.
And I guess the last couple of years, things have been kind of situational. And so now I'm trying to decide what I want people to know me for. I've done things in the past because I'm a mother, and I've done things that have been easy for me to do where they're behind the scenes. So I write, I'm a food writer. I consult. I'm a former educator and trainer, so I do a lot of training and train the trainer and like things like behind the scenes, using my educational background. So.
Oh, very cool. Well, I mean, just looking at the website, it's nice. I mean, I like the images that show up. From that first image, my only comment for that first part is, so LJ, if you can go to like another one of the images. Okay, so see how because it's white text, sometimes it fades away, so you can't read it all the time. I don't know if there's an option to like experiment with other colors
Sure.
and just see if, because I know I can see kitchen and garden, but right, when you hover over that, even when you hover over and it's red, it's still a little odd to read. So maybe just experiment with that a little bit and see which color would work best. I'm not a color fan, but there is is it a color wheel?
Mm-hmm.
If you Google color wheel, it will tell you which colors will work better with other colors. What age is your target audience?
Well, I work with a variety of audiences. So I'm a former educator. So it's like I do cooking camp in the summertime, and my clients, what I'm for my cooking classes, are people, I call them the white hairs. So people who have like disposable income and like high money districts. And so I'm in Connecticut. So some of my clients are in like Fairfield County. I also travel and do things. And so I have clients in New York, Boston. So I have individual clients, and then I have clients like where I work with organizations and or like nonprofits, like
Okay.
so someone will come like with the Jamaica Tourist Board, like working on a food festival and helping to produce it and do the behind the scenes marketing and stuff like that.
All right, very cool. And I do like the fact that you do have the about page and your contact page. That's good. The thing about so I am 55, and the text below, as you get older, your eyes decide that they're going to do things and you don't have any control over them. So the text here where LJ, the text below is small where it says global government.
Mhm.
Yeah, that text
Okay.
is really small. So I would make that a little bit bigger since your audience is older people. When you're younger, you don't realize the I thing, but as you get older, it happens.
I'm 50, so I do understand. Like, but I have all my devices like on the highest number that font, and I just try and have people not look at it.
There you go. Eat those carrots.
Well, it goes back and forth actually, because I used to have like the readers for a little while, and I don't have them anymore.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? You get up one day, you're fine, the next day you're not. So the younger folks on the list, just always remember that you kind of have to adjust things to your target audience. I'll let Donike or LJ if they had any thoughts so far.
LJ, if you have any thoughts before you can speak before I go.
No, but I guess, did you want me to go to the about page and the contact?
Yeah, your copyright needs to be updated. It says 2017 on your when you go to mobile. And also one thing everyone on this call should bear in mind that, and your copyright is in black or gray on black text. It's at the bottom, LJ.
Scroll to the bottom, it's like LJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like barely visible, even there. That's something you need to make prominent, just like how you made your Facebook, Tumblr, and Pinterest things prominent. Yeah, that's it. So no one can really see that, and it should be clickable. And then on where you have about me, resume, those links, I would, because you want to kind of keep your website, on the footer, on her footer.
Yeah, go back to the bottom, LJ. Yeah.
If you click them, they don't open out. So when you open them, your website is lost. And for me, I don't want it to send Facebook traffic. Facebook, Tumblr, anything that does not belong to you, open them. Make sure when you link them, open them in another window, because you never want to send people away from your own site, especially when you're sending them to a property that is not yours. So Facebook don't need no more traffic.
Nadine, hold on one second, Donica. Nadine, do you understand what she's saying there?
Yeah, I do. And also, I just wanted to say that I didn't do originally my site, so now like I had someone break apart I also do my art site. So I have a separate art site because I'm trying to streamline like my branding and marketing. I was trying to make everything easy for me so people can come to one place, but then it's confusing for then selling. So that's what I'm doing in the process of now, like streamlining like what I'm offering so people understand that, because I know that it's a little confusing. And I didn't know those opened up, and I will fix that, because I do not, most of the other things that if you link on them, it opens up in another window. So I'll go through and fix them, because
they're opening up and taking people away from your side.
Right.
And then another thing, I did just check your site on mobile, and this is for everyone, including myself. Facebook is pushing mobile and mobile usability. And when I click on your hamburger, like here, you see, I don't know if you pull the whole screen, if it can go to the size of a mobile phone. This will show you if you're okay. Yeah, so this is how you will see your website if someone's coming from mobile, and you can check your percentage of people coming from mobile in your analytics. And this is how your hamburger menu pops down, which is it's annoying. And I'm just telling you as a user, this I would not even bother, because it comes over the front of your page. So even if people want to still see what's going on your home screen, they're bombarded by all these things. And again, it's not clear, it's not segmented, where you're guiding people. Your website should be like easily navigatable and clear, so you guide someone step by step when they come onto your blog. So if you want them to go for kids cooking, it should be very clear. Click here for kids cooking. If they're adults cooking, click here for adults cooking. Right now it's like they're all overlapping, and just imagine someone coming on mobile and they seen this, and this wasn't your site, this is someone else's site that you don't know. Would this not aggravate you? You would be like, oh, this is too much.
You're very Jamaican.
Yeah.
Very, very. With a little dose of London too.
But you have to.
Oh, I appreciate the feedback. And I'm glad that I'm Jamaican. I can take it, and that I have aunts that are just like you. Yes, thank you. You can give it to me, Donna K.
But think of it as how we consume when we're going on other people's website, and this is how we're all lazy, and we'll be like, we would go back, we would click back, and that's sending a negative signal to Google about your website. So that's just something to note. When we work on a big screen, when we work on our laptops, we are designing for our eyes on the laptop, and we're thinking, oh, this looks good, man. But we need to always shrink our screen down to mobile and see how it would look on mobile, because most of our traffic nowadays are coming from mobile. So we want people to have a good mobile interface and make it the experience on mobile very friendly. And that is a signal also to Google that your website is mobile friendly, and they will send you more traffic. So that's something to bear in mind when everyone is creating pages on their screen. Just always pull and you will also know if your theme is mobile friendly. If you just pull it like how you just saw LJ pull it, and make it the same size as a mobile screen. And then you check all your drop downs, how they would look if someone was on a iPhone. So yeah, so that's the one thing.
They also have like each page that you can look on mobilely, at least on this theme.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And what you can do too, Nadine, is that you can go to Google Analytics. Or are you using Google Analytics?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to Google Analytics, it'll tell you how many people are coming in through mobile and what devices that they're using. And I know there is, I don't have the links for it, but maybe we can make a note, LJ, is that there are some websites you can go to, and you can put your URL in, and it'll show you what it looks like on different types of phones.
Okay.
But if your theme is mobile friendly, and nowadays most website theme, so you can pull it to the size of a tablet, you can pull the screen to the size of a mobile phone, and that's how it should stay when we go on these devices. So it should show you as you pull the screen back and forth if your theme that you're using now on this website is mobile friendly or is responsive.
Yeah.
You can also do it through, I can't find it right now, but with Chrome browsers, let me see if I can find it. I can't find it, but there's a way through when you do inspect elements or inspect, this will pop up in, yeah, here it goes.
Sure.
So it'll show you right here, and then you can actually change the different dimensions, because each phone is different. So that's the.
Can you go back and show them how to do what you're doing? LJ is a guy who goes into the back end of stuff. So as you can see, he's doing a whole bunch of cool stuff here. So just explain what you just did.
So with Chrome, every browser has it, but Chrome is usually the best, and it's the easiest to kind of navigate. But on the bottom, so if you just right click on, it depends on where you right click. So try to right click on like just a kind of a normal part of the website and just go to inspect. I think it's called inspect elements in some places.
Yeah.
And mine is on the side. Sometimes, most of the time by default, I think it starts on the bottom. I can't remember how I put it on the side, but there's this icon that when you click on it, you can choose different phone types and it'll show you what it looks like. So if you did an iPad Pro, this is what your website would look like. And that's also good to know because as Donna K mentioned, so when you bring your screen closer, as you can see, like an iPad is not as slim as an iPhone. So therefore the menu doesn't do the same thing. It's kind of going based off of, I guess, the website, or sorry, like a desktop, where if you choose, an iPhone X, then it makes that change and you can kind of just see what your website. So this is another thing that you probably adjust. And it's also good to look at because there are some, so newer websites or newer templates for websites, they understand that your website can look different based off of what device you're on. So there's a way to, so they'll have two different styling, I guess you can say. But then some older HTML code doesn't do that. So this is probably like an example of something where it didn't readjust based off of the dimensions of your
Do you
website.
think that I should change the theme since I'm editing it now?
I think that'd probably be a good idea. I mean,
Yeah, you could try some other themes. I know it's a pain to change themes. I've done it a
That's why
few
I didn't.
times.
Yeah.
But
But I mean,
well,
since I'm opening up to the feedback, might as well, you know.
yeah, you can try some other themes and see if they're a little more responsive. And responsive is a technical term, but it just means that the website adapts to whatever device the user is viewing it on. And you probably get a theme that will adapt a little better than this particular one. So yeah, I mean, if you're in redesign mode, you might as well investigate other themes and see if it looks and operates the way that you're looking at. And again, most users do come through mobile, and so they will have the issue that Donna K highlighted here.
And again, and that's also Google is doing a big push towards mobile. So everyone's site now has to be mobile responsive.
yeah, you'll lose SEO, I guess, juice, whatever they want to call it. Google will, if there's two sites that are the same, if yours is not properly built for like mobile, you'll be ranked less or lower because of that.
Yeah.
And what LJ is talking about here, just remember that although we're using Nadine sites as the example here, this will apply to your own website. So you can grab that URL, go to Chrome, and do exactly the same thing, and check it out. This is not just only applicable to Nadine.
Oh, and one quick thing, Nadine, the thing that Corinne mentioned as far as like the color, one kind of quick little thing you can do to kind of not fix it, but just you can also change the overlay on the picture and make it darker, and then that will bring out the colors, or like the white colors will kind of
Okay.
pop better. So that's like just a quick little fix that you can do that doesn't require like any kind of crazy coding or anything like that.
And in your thing there, what you're looking at is a slider. So there should be something in your theme that talks about the slider, and it should tell you what color the text should be. It's normally when you go into your WordPress admin, there is a spot in there. I think it's under appearance, themes, customize. When you go under there, there will be something in there that tells you how to adjust that. Are you doing the work yourself, or do you have somebody doing it?
I was editing out as much as I could, and then I have someone doing my art website. But now listening to what you guys say, I don't know. I think it's above my pay grade, to tell you the truth. So I think that I might have to hand it over to somebody. So if you know somebody, because I have to like put my blog and everything on, so I don't know. I think it might be above my pay grade.
Gotcha. No, I hear you. And that's one of the things about the Black Travel Alliance is that if if you guys need help and you need somebody who knows the work, because we all know different things, then you can help somebody else who has this knowledge to come in and help you. I'm trying to think. We don't have in the community that we're building. We will have something like that, but in the meantime, if you're looking for someone, we'll try to see if we can help you find someone who has some kind of skills that can help you.
Thank you.
And I think there's a question in the chat for Win from Marsha.
Hold on. Okay, so Marsha is saying, what service do you recommend to handle all this digital and optimization stuff for startups with a modest budget? This is great to know, however, to implement or execute. It is overwhelming. Agreed. It is. Even some of the stuff else, I'm like, oh, LJ, I didn't realize that. So that's really good. Some of this stuff is interesting, right? When it gets overwhelming, like as content creators, we want to create content because that's what we do best. And so when you need little, oh, you're welcome, Nadine. When you need technical help like this, it is best if you go to, is it like Upwork? It's probably one of the services out there. It's upwork.com, or you can go to Fiverr, which is Fiverr.com. Or what's interesting, even on your own social networks, if you put up a note and say, look, I'm having trouble with my website. I'm looking for a web developer. I can't afford to pay too much. Then you may be able to find someone. Marcia, can you unmute? If you need, Donica, were you gonna say something?
I think a lot of you can check in some of the Facebook groups, the Facebook blogger groups and so on, or even maybe on Fiverr. But you can ask people in the Facebook groups like who helped them with their site theme and so on and so forth. So definitely check out any of the blogger groups. With the optimization, I would say, Marcia, at least know, even if it's the basic of the most basic about optimization, so that when you are hiring someone, they don't stiff you. Like they say, oh, I know how to optimize, and you think they're doing something good to your site, and they actually haven't done anything. But because you know less,
Yeah, exactly.
you think they've done something. So that's like one tip I would say. At least know the bare minimum on optimizing your site yourself. So when you do hire someone, you know if they're doing a good job. And I'm just going to drop something in the chat, and you guys can go to like Ahrefs Webmaster. You can use the tool. I'll drop it in the link, and they've given a free tool. You just need to sign up, and it kind of crawls your website, and you can do your own audit check. So it will tell you if you have which kind of images are large or taking up a lot of time to load, if you have any 404 error, 404 kind of redirects, and then those are stuff that you can like Google, YouTube, and fix yourself. And then you can hire someone, pay a bit money to hire someone to do higher level stuff. So that is something that you can use that is not currently free. And it's the Ahrefs Webmaster tool. And it tells you, it will crawl your site and tell you all the things that you can do actively to optimize your site.
Is that the one that gave you a grade A through F?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be intimidating if you get a bad grade. But the cool thing is that it actually tells you what to do to fix it. Exactly. And it points things out for you. And so I use that one with my developer. I just say, dude, this isn't working. And I said, go. He goes and he does that. And then he takes it from an F to an A or a B or something like that, which is really
And they also have YouTube, so you can watch them as they go through these audit things. So yeah, LJ has just brought it up.
Yeah. And I know that the tech stuff is overwhelming. So LJ, it sounds like maybe what we need to do is if we can find other members who have the skills to help the members who don't, and then maybe we can figure out how we can bring the two sides together.
And it's free to sign up, because this normally they used to cost like 100 quid, and now they need free users data. So they're giving you to use some of the functionalities for free so that they can collect data from Google. Okay. And again, this goes back to data policy. So they have to tell us why they're giving us this for free and why they're using our data. So again, this is what we were talking about when we were talking about privacy policies and what you should have on your site.
There you go. And LJ, if you can copy that link and just paste it in the chat. So
I've dropped it in the chat.
Oh, Donica just did. It showed. Can you drop it again, Donica? There was a here and HTTPS were together. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So see why it's good to do a hot seat, because just Nadine stepping forward and go, okay, pick me. That opened up a lot of doors. So we can definitely help others. Since we're at 12:14, so we'll just open up for a general tech Q&A, or if you don't have any tech Q&A, then we'll try to answer other questions as well. So open questions. What have you guys got? What's going on the tech side? What can
I just want to say verbally thank you. And I want to say, Donna Kay, you inspired me to go, you know, look at my SEO and do the things that I was going to do anyway, but I'm inspired. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope I wasn't too harsh. I know like the Jamaican side can come out and
I
really.
mean, it's like, you can't take it personal, it's like I got to do it. So I appreciate the feedback. I want it raw and real. Thank you.
As long as it's helpful, and I hopefully didn't like upset you.
No, it would, and it was stuff that it needs to happen. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, good, Nadine. We appreciate it, and we thank you for stepping out there and asking. We have a question from Biz. Biz, am I pronouncing your name right? Can you pronounce it for us?
Yes, you are.
Says Biz. Okay. What are some ways we can increase our domain authority? The big DA. I guess just Danica, do you want to explain what domain authority are, LJ, or do you want me to do it?
You go first, Kerwin.
Okay, so domain authority is it's a number that they came up to judge how good your website is. So good in the sense that how popular, the whole website thing is a whole popularity contest. So the idea is that the higher that number is, the more you will show up in search engines. And so what people want to do, I'm just kind of a basic explanation of it. And so what you want to do, they judge it on different things. Things like, so let's say your website is about airlines, for example. And so when people search for the word, let's say airlines in Europe, when people search for the word airlines in Europe, because your domain name is airlines in Europe, it more than likely will show up first and you get points for that. Also on the website, you have things about airlines. So if my website says airlines in Europe, but all the content I have is about food in Europe, then there's kind of a mismatch. So you want to make sure that your domain name matches the content that you have. Now, a lot of us have started websites a long time ago. We call them by our names, and now they match something where our website has nothing to do with what our name means. So there's kind of a mismatch, and then that kind of affects the domain, quote unquote, domain authority as well. Now, how can you increase, make that better? Write content, write content that people are, quote unquote, searching for, but you should also make sure that you give the information is relevant. And there's a whole bunch of SEO thing, and we had a class on SEO. If you go to our YouTube channel, just search for Black Travel Alliance on our YouTube channel, you can find a session that Tamika did on SEO, and that will actually help and tell you how to improve your domain authority. The other thing is backlinks. And what backlinks are people linking to the content that's on your website. So which is why it's great that everyone has shared their URL and their Instagram channels. And what I'd advise everyone to do is go look at what the other people are doing. And if you have content that matches, see if you can share links. But you want to make sure when you share a link, you share something that's relevant. So otherwise Google will be like, well, this doesn't make any sense to the reader, because the whole idea is that they want to make sure the content flows. And if I'm reading something about cars and all of a sudden you start talking about airplanes, which has nothing to do with cars in that context, then it doesn't make any sense. So that link is not good. Like I have a site, it's called Unfamiliar Destinations, and I have a whole bunch of destinations on this. If you guys take a look at that and you've written any content on those places that I talked about, I'm more than happy to link over to that, and that will give you what they call it, link juice in essence, and that will help your domain authority. Donna K, LJ, anything to add?
Yeah. DA encompasses, how to increase your DA encompasses a lot of things. One of them being EAT, which is your authority. You're showing Google your authority. So a lot of travel bloggers, what they do is go to Bali and they write ultimate guide on Bali, Balling in Bali. And you got that one post and you think you're going to rank. You're not going to rank. Like you will not outrank someone who has 50 posts on Bali, just Bali. they've written 50 different things, what you can do, what you can eat, how you can Highland hop. That's showing Google eat, that's showing Google authority, because that person has so many content. And we've all been to sites where they say, oh, where you can stay in Bali, these are the top restaurants in Bali, this is how you can hire a yacht in Bali. That shows you as a reader as well, this person is authoritative in that sector of Bali. That's one thing. You create a lot of content on the same topic, addressing the content from different spheres. Another thing is backlinks, and you want to get backlinks from high authoritative domains. So DA 30, 50 and above. What you need to do and how you know that a DA is good is like, are they getting traffic? Are they uploading to their blogs consistently? And if they're on like premium ad networks, like, you know, that person is working real hard on their blog to get a ton of content up, to get a ton of traffic, to make money from the ads. That also shows you the site is healthy. So people like that, you want to get a backlink for. I just dropped Help a Reporter out. Now that is another way that a lot of bloggers can, you have reporters that will ask question or say, I want a like a phrase or a quote, or can you address this? If you sign up to them, it's free. And you go through every day, you go through it and see what are you an authority on that you can respond. And you need to respond like quick, like real quick, within the first half an hour, because a lot of bloggers and a lot of other people are literally sitting there, and as soon as they hit the, Help a Reporter out or Harpo, it's their inbox, they're trying to go through what they can respond, because they know that getting link backs from these authoritative sites will increase their domain. So link backs from sites and strong DA sites, unhealthy DA sites, actually increases your domain. This is why a lot of people want to be featured in newspaper. If you're a travel blogger and you're being featured in like Travel Magazine, like Travel New York, Travel and Leisure, Lonely Planets, that also helps your authority, bring your authority up, and it's relevant content. So a travel website, a major authoritative travel website is linking back to you, that increases your domain. And you can even do collabs where people will say, oh, I'm doing, like I saw a lot of these in the blogging groups. Oh, I want 20 to 30 words on the best places in Kent in the UK. Now, if you're based in the UK and you visited a place in Kent and you have like things to do in, say, Rye in Essex, or things to do in Coventry, and those are any place in Kent, you can say, oh, I will give you 300 words or 250 words, and then please link back to my main page, or please link back to this specific non-competing post. And that's another way to get backlinks to your site and increase your domain. So I hope did you guys understand what I just said?
Did that make, and I'm sorry, go ahead, LJ.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's important to mention though that like how Google defines domain authority does change with time. It's constantly changing. Like Google itself is I guess you can just kind of like a master brain, and it's constantly getting smarter. So I think what's always important is just kind of use common sense, in the sense that try not to like game the system, because kind of like what Donna Kay mentioned, as far as like a blogger would write like 50 Bali blog posts, but if they're not quality blog posts, Google will eventually figure out that if everyone's clicking on, if like say you were able to figure out how to make it to like the first page of the Google results, and if people are constantly clicking on it, but then they're, I guess, like bouncing off, or just they spend 30 seconds on there, you're no longer gonna, Google will figure that out, and they're gonna start ranking you lower. So then you kind of like wasted your time writing 50 blog posts about Bali. So you just want to kind of like have common sense, in a sense that what are the things that you should do to be authoritative, I guess, in that specific topic. So like for Bali, for example, instead of writing 50 random blog posts, write 50 different, a variety of things that can show that you are an expert in that. And then also just like with Google, they've recently, I'm not for sure when it happened, but the BERT update, where what used to be, like, I guess it was based off of keywords. It's not usually keywords anymore. It's more like phrases, I guess you can say, or just kind of like understanding. So Google knows or they're having their algorithm is increased or getting better in a sense that like if you typed in, I don't know what, like searching for crystal glass, like glasses or whatever, Google knows whether it's like reading glasses or like actual like drinking glass based off of what you said, because they're kind of taking other words around it. So if you're writing about like tumblers, which I guess is something you guys call it in the UK, right? Tumblr?
Tumblr.
Drinking tumbler.
Oh yeah, tumbler glass, yeah.
So just understanding that Google understands those things. So you can be an expert on tumblers, but still rank for like glass.
Yeah.
Depending on what people are actually like their intent on search.
Yeah. And also Google is taking what your previous search histories are. So if you write Tumblr as bloggers, maybe Google is going to show us Tumblr as in the web, you know, the Tumblr website where people used to write their diary, instead of a tumbler glass where you can drink whiskey out of. So that's how smart the Google AI is. And when I said write 50 posts, I didn't mean write 50 posts of the same thing. I mean, like, lots of people, they go to one place and they just write one post, but you think when you, as LJ said, common sense, when you're going to a place, what do you look for? You look for where to eat, you look for where to stay, you look for best hotel or maybe cheapest hotel, cheapest Airbnb. You're going to look for like cool things to do, activities to do. So that's how you address and become and show and create authoritative content. So you're attacking the same subject, but from different sphere, where someone who, if they're searching to go to Bali, you give them, do you need vaccination, the insurance they need to get, how far out do they need to plan, does Bali have a rainy season, when is the best time to go based on the climate, stuff like that, as we as travelers, these are things that we're already searching. So if you want to build authority, these are things that you should be incorporating in posts, not just things to do and that's it. Like, you need to go to the nuanced things, because that's how you build authority. Because someone's going to say, oh wow, I never even thought, do I need vaccination, do I need insurance, what kind of insurance do I need to get, how long, what does the insurance need to cover? You've like, lots of top bloggers, these are the things, if you go on their site, you might think, oh, this is dry content, but these are the things that as we travel, we're going to need. So these are some of the stuff you need to be incorporating when you're creating content, just to build your authority, and then getting backlinks, because no one is going to link to a blog that don't have no good content on it, like crap content. People will come to your blog and see, and if it's not good, they're like, oh, you know, I'm not accepting any more collabs, literally. And that's a nice way of putting things. Or like, oh, you know, I don't think I'm doing this anymore. And because they went to your blog and seeing that, oh, you don't have strong content. And when I was starting out, because of content, people would link back to me. They literally come and read your article, and then they were like, yeah, I will link to you and you can submit to my collabs. That's one of the ways that you can get linked back.
That's good. 2 comments. I think Brenda was asking, Brenda, let me go back up and see what you said. It makes sense, but if you could put that in writing to refer back to would be helpful. Thank you. Brenda, we are recording this and it's going to be available on our YouTube channel. And we are youtube.com/Black Travel Alliance. And if you follow us and set notification, you'll see whenever we get the new, put anything new. So give us a day or 2 and we'll have something on the website. Plus, it'll also be on our YouTube channel. And Davida, who is also in London, and she's at Wonders of Wonders. And she's actually one of our, I guess, copywriters, copy editors. So when you see the newsletter, it's Davida that makes it sound good. And she gave a suggestion. Danica, can you read that for me? I can't scroll.
The people also ask, and you can type that, section of your search topics on Google are also helpful clues on the type of content you can create around a destination or idea, which is very good. Also, if you type in the people also ask, or if you're saying, when is the best season to visit Bali? Say you write that in, and then from the 10 SERPs, which is the 10 results that you're going to see, if you see Reddit, if you see a Reddit or a forum post, and it's just like it's the forum post that's answering, that means even as a small blogger, if you answer that question in depth, you can rank, because forum posts, they're just giving you, some of them just giving you the bare minimum. But like these people also ask, you can put that in your content. So these are some of the things that where you can address if you're writing a blog post.
Yeah, really
And
good
if you
tip
go
there.
down this this list and you see like Reddit, forum, any kind of forums, that is a good sign that, ooh, there's not enough information on this thing, and I should write a very strong post to address it. And that even as a small blogger, you will be able to rank for that.
Well done. Good thought there. One thing I also do is that we have a feature, and we had sent out requests in our newsletter, and it is, let me go to the chat. What we do is that it's called Submit a Photo. And so what we're trying to do is to give you backlinks, which will help your domain authority. And so if you go to that link, I just posted it in the chat, and you can submit photos to us. And then what we'll do is we need photos all the time for our website. And what we'll do, we'll put your photo up, and it asks for permission and all that kind of good stuff. And just go through that, submit a photo. And then whenever we need a photo, we'll use your photo and we'll give you credit. You tell us how you want credit. And usually people just asking for a link back, and that gives you a backlink, which
and make sure it's a do follow link. Do follow, that's the one you want.
And do follow. See, now you have to explain do follow and no follow, Danica.
But yeah, just so that people don't try to staff you out here in these streets, you want do follow ones. No follow links do give you a little kind of nod, but it's the do follow one that gives you the good juice. And you, based on what page someone is linking, make sure you go to the page that they're linking you from and see how many links are on that page. And it's a lot of nuances, but make sure the link more or less is do follow.
But typically, whenever you make the link, it's normally a do follow link. And do follow just means that do follows are good, but that's normally evil people do no follow links. That's just me.
There's a lot of evil people out here.
There are, because basically they have to actually go into the code and tell it not to follow. Or there's a little option that they do. So mostly, but whenever you ask for a link, just tell people, please make it sure it's a do follow link, and they should understand what you're looking for.
Yeah.
We do follow, so you don't have to worry about that.
And Debbie is asking a question. She said, I got a new theme a few weeks ago, but every time I personalize the theme to my brand, it reverts back to the demo version. I tried to turn off unnecessary plugins, but I've still not had any luck. Do you have any advice on how I can fix this?
So it keeps going back to the demo, you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it a paid theme? Is it Debbie? Can you give us some more details? Debbie, do you want
to drop your link?
Yeah, drop your link so we can see.
So the theme isn't activated right now because it'll literally be someone else's face on my blog. Like I changed the homepage, I'll change the picture of the person, it's to my face, and it'll go back to the demo version.
Is this a paid theme?
It is paid, but I got it gifted.
So they've so I guess you had the rights to use it, in essence.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like something that we'll have to, if we can, why don't you send a note to feedback@blacktravelalliance.com, and then we'll get some details, and I can take a look and see if it works.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, because WordPress it's really good, but it's also really
Yeah.
weird. So not gonna lie. So it's probably easier. Yeah, just drop an email. It's feedback at, or actually, you can just go to our contact page and send an email.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm the one who reads the email, so I'll keep an eye out for it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we're at 12:35. Did we answer all the, and you guys are still here, my goodness, thank you. Sorry we're running a little long, but we didn't know how this was going to go over. We figured, we'll just try to help, but obviously you guys need some tech help, and I hope this was being useful. Just let me know if you guys have any final questions, and we'll see if we can answer them. And this is going to be available on the on our YouTube channel and also on our website. And we'll send out. We know everyone who's here, so we'll be able to send you something out with all the appropriate links. And I hope everyone is a member of the BTA. So if you haven't already joined, you can do so at blacktravelalliance.com/join. And we have Martina and David. Martina is in charge of our communications, and David is also on the communications team. And like I mentioned, she takes care of writing the cool writings in the newsletter. And so LJ, Donna Kay, did you guys have anything else? And I'll keep looking out for questions that come in.
I don't have anything else. I would only like to know what you guys would like to see from the tech team. Obviously, a lot of people are new, and I know WordPress is a headache, but like, what are the kind of stuff for your website that you would like to see us, or sessions that you would like to see us do? Because obviously we are here for you guys and here to help you guys.
I have a quick question, sorry, because I'm still trying to design my website, and I was gonna go WordPress.org, but because I also work full time, I'm just trying to have something that's very easy to update. So I'm planning to go through the Squarespace route.
Oh,
but will you have any...
have a heart attack. He's dying now.
I know a lot of people die, but I just feel like because I have a full-time job, and a long-term goal is to obviously make this my full-time job and leave my other job. But in terms of it, just for the ease, are you going to do a session on like Squarespace or Squarespace templates or anything like that? Because I'm still experimenting. I tried Wix, didn't really like it, and with WordPress, I just feel like there's a lot. I mean, even though I am technically a programmer, so I'm being a bit lazy, but it's just because I have a full-time job and I work in media, so it's quite an intense job.
Cheryl, no, thank you very much for that question. So I'm not a fan of the little the programs like Wix and Squarespace. I'll give you an example. A friend of ours, a friend of mine actually, well, all of us, he's on Wix, and we're actually converting from Wix to WordPress right now, and it's taking a lot longer than anticipated. And it's because there's the formatting is different. So for example, when we brought everything over from Wix to WordPress, it made everything H3 tag, and H3 is just one of the tags that's in WordPress. There's H1, H2, H3, and this is just formatting, and it made everything bold. So now I have to go back to every post and remove all the bold, remove all the tagging, fix the headlines and stuff like that. So the thing is that although WordPress is a pain at times, it's good if you make it right from the beginning, so you don't have to change it later, because more than likely you're going to have to change it at some point. But with that said, if you're on Squarespace, it looks like that might be something that we just need to look into to see how we can help our users who are on different platforms and just kind of help them through, because you probably already invested some time, or like you said, you don't really have time to do the WordPress thing. And so that's something that we'll look into. I don't know how Squarespace works, but we have LJ and we have Donna Kay, and between the three of us, we can figure it out At least give you some
And-
tips somehow.
I'm on
Thank you.
Squarespace, so my website is on Squarespace.
Yay, okay, that's good. That's good.
There you go. You guys are twin. Go have a virtual coffee later.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah,
I
we
was
should
like
actually.
you babes. I went to Squarespace, and then people say, "Oh, Squarespace is the devil." So I went to WordPress, and then I was like, I can't be dealing with this." So, so I went back to Squarespace, and Squarespace does. I would not recommend Wix for anybody. Wix is terrible. Squarespace does have its merits, because if you just want to create the content, and because it's drag and drop, I just create the content, I already make it SEO optimized, and then I put in my image and I'm done. I'm not trying to, spend my whole life on my website. I just want to create the content, and that's it. And that's what I like about Squarespace, that you can create the content, the templates are already beautiful, and then you put your images and you're done and dusted. So I use Squarespace, and before I went to Squarespace, before I left WordPress, I actually went around and I looked at other travel bloggers that were using Squarespace, and I made sure that they had premium ads on their blogs, so I know, oh, this person is getting at least 25,000 sessions a month or 100,000 sessions a month. So I know the Squarespace website, I could rank, and I would get high traffic, and I could run premium ads on my website. So those are the things that when you're moving to any kind of content management system, you should look for first. And when I saw that some of the really top bloggers or top selling travel bloggers were on Squarespace, I jumped ship and I went to Squarespace. And it's quite easy once you get it set up. I think there are some Facebook communities that cater to Squarespace, and there are a lot of YouTube videos that go step by step in how to basically use your Squarespace or create your Squarespace website. So it's a lot easier than WordPress. I don't have to really worry of it ever going down, it ever being hacked, because if you hack a Squarespace website, you have to hack all of Squarespace. But it does have its that's one good thing, because you can hack into WordPress website via their plugins if it's outdated. It does have its drawback where you have to do a lot of integration there. You can't do too much coding because it would cause your website to load slow, but it has its advantages, and I like it so far. So and it's easier to move from Squarespace to WordPress than it is to move from Wix to a WordPress website.
Okay, that's great. I think I'm going to stick with Squarespace, because the whole reason why I wanted Squarespace was I was also trying to think of longevity, as if I want to post content on my other platforms, like let's say Pinterest and Instagram, I don't want to be tied to a blog that's going to take, like, I'll be spending more of my curation on there because it's just so clunky. And although I am a programmer and I do know how to write in HTML and XML and JavaScript, it's just not worth the time trying to do that when I really want to be creating the content.
And just getting it up and moving on to something else.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to load when you're abroad. So say if I need to do something and I had like a press trip, or let's say a travel tourism trip abroad, it is easier, I feel, to update on the go, especially if you're using like the mobile app as well. So that's why I thought maybe Squarespace is the way.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, like with any website content creation system, is have your domain with another host. Don't get your domain with Squarespace.
Yes, I'm doing Bluehost because that's what I want to do. Yeah, because I'm not doing it with Squarespace. I'm definitely
so if you're ready to move, you can move easily, and no one is tied. Like Wix is really messed up because it really makes it hard for people to leave. So that's one thing. Always have your domain name with some other provider, and then your content management system somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think another reason why I like Squarespace is because you've got a choice of monthly and annual. So like I can move it if I'm not happy with it, or I find something else, I can move it to another platform. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go down that route for now. I mean, and then if I change my mind, at least I can, move the domain name across to another platform. Thank you.
I don't know if Donica had this issue, but at least for me, I've done both. If I want to like have a quick website. Sometimes I'll just do it on Squarespace. But one thing with Squarespace I didn't like, which is not a huge problem, just that sometimes when you have like knowledge of the difference, especially for yourself, Cheryl, that you understand like HTML code and stuff, sometimes it gets a little frustrating when you want to do something, you feel like you should be able to do it on Squarespace, but you can't figure it out. And Squarespace websites look great, and they look professional, like almost like quote unquote out the box. But there are some times where you have to have a little bit of a patience, because you see it on like on a WordPress site, and you should be able to do this on any site, and for whatever reason you can't do that exact same thing. So just having a little bit of patience, because you understand coding enough to like think this should not be hard to do. There's some things that just aren't available on Squarespace.
And I think that's because Squarespace is a closed management system, while WordPress is open, where developers can make their plugin and you can alter it. Whereas Squarespace is like, nah, bruv, you're going to use what we give you and be happy. And I do agree with LJ. Sometimes even for me, and I'm not the biggest coder, it is frustrating, because you're like, this should be simpler. I should be able to just do and put in this small code and change this thing. And you go to their customer service and they don't even know what to do. They're like, oh, you can't put it here because it might crash your website. So there is a give and take. And for me, I ain't trying to live my whole life on WordPress, live my whole life on my website. I just want to create my content, put my photos up, and make my site age and start ranking and making money. Like, that is the whole point of this thing.
I agree. I've had that case already with Squarespace, where my navigation links, it's got the hamburger menu. And the good thing about Squarespace is I know it works on all devices, but like it's always on the right hand side as a drop down list. I can't have it as the links on top, which is driving me nuts, but I will break that code somehow or another.
And so the thing about this good conversation is that you realize that something, you don't everybody doesn't have to do WordPress. You kind of do what works for you. And so it looks like, Donna K, maybe what we can do is maybe write 6 things to know about Squarespace or something like that. And then we can share that, and then LJ can and even Cheryl can probably contribute to it, and you can say the issues that you're having, and then you can get a link back to your website.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. My website's very basic, but it will do for now. I haven't loaded it yet because I'm still experimenting around with it.
Okay, very cool. I'm just looking through some of the questions before we head out. I think Karen was asking about, she was saying, watching the breakdown of Nadine's website was very helpful. Thank you, and thank you. Will there be an SEO session? And I think Martina put a note that we did have an SEO session that was done by Tomiko, and there's a link to that in the chat. Maya is asking a fact sheet of terms we should know when getting started, must-haves on our website. We will get that. That is something that I've been thinking of doing, just send a glossary or something. We have a resources page. It doesn't have that information on there, but we can, Danica, if you can take a note, you can add that in there. Marsha says a session on working full-time and pursuing travel content creation as a side hustle to build upon as a full-time career. The most important things to focus on for the most impact. Okay, great. We will make a note of that. And our training and events group are the ones who coordinate all the sessions. So we'll stick that in there. And Martina gave the link to the SEO session, and you can look at there. And what are your thoughts about using GoDaddy if you're not new or savvy in building a website? I don't use GoDaddy, but it's a personal preference. There are a number of people who have. You can use, so I use Namecheap. Namecheap, it sounds cheap, but it is cheap, but it's a really good service. What Namecheap does is you can buy your domain names at Namecheap. So you search, you type the name you want, and it tells you what's available, and it's a very competitive rate. So that's what I use for domain names. In terms of hosting, the general rule is not to use the same company that you bought your domain with as your hosting. So, and the reason for that is that you will lose everything if that company goes out of business or is offline or something like that. And so I use Namecheap, and we also do that at the Black Travel Alliance. And I use SiteGround as my hosting company. There are a ton of different hosting companies. I had HostGator at one point, and they're actually here in Houston. They got taken over by another company, and the customer service changed. In web hosting, customer service is extremely important because you want to be able to call them when something is wrong. If they need to give you additional resources because your site getting extra traffic, you don't want them to take you offline. And I had that issue with HostGator. And so SiteGround has worked really well for me. Bluehost is good, but Bluehost is just, if you have to change something, they will cut you off first, and then you have to pay more, and then maybe they'll put you back on again. So what you normally see people ask in these forums and say, hey, what should I use as my hosting provider? And so I use SiteGround. We at BTA use SiteGround, and maybe Donna K and LJ have some thoughts about using GoDaddy.
I use GoDaddy, so I have my domain name with GoDaddy and my site with Squarespace. So I just pay, I think it's like £24 for 2 years, and their privacy protection, and that's it. And then I host somewhere else. I have used SiteGround before, and they are really good, and their customer service is really, really great. So I would recommend them over Bluehost.
LJ?
We actually, our site's on Bluehost, and to be completely honest, over the last, so I have a service I use that checks our website every, I don't know, things like every 15 minutes or seconds or so. So over the weekend or last week, I've constantly gotten notifications our website was down. And I think that's kind of common with Bluehost. They're good for starter websites, like when you first start, because they're at a good price and we're at an affordable price compared to some of the other places. But and a lot of people will recommend it when you first start off, especially because if you don't have a ton of traffic, or if, yeah, just like as you're building your website, because it's kind of like you don't want to spend the whatever, I think it's like $20 or something a month on a site that's not really getting much traffic. So it's good, but Bluehost does have some issues here and there, and we're actually considering like finding a new hosting site. And actually, yeah, I was actually really annoyed with them. So basically the site was down constantly overnight. I'm not sure why. I called customer service, and they actually used to, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but a lot of services that have, I guess they're like, that have servers or whatever, usually there's on a website on the bottom, there's a way to check the status of their servers. And Bluehost actually took that away from their website. I only found it because I did a Google search, and I found, I guess, a old page, but they took it away, which led me to believe that they don't want people to see like the status of their servers, which is kind of not, it's really kind of sketchy. So, and then I called customer service. They couldn't give me any good, well, you know, you're talking to someone who's just a customer service rep, so they don't really have too many answers. But that kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable with Bluehost. And someone actually told me that the reason why you hear about Bluehost so much is just they do a lot of good marketing. And then they do have a really good, like, I think like affiliate program. So you'll hear about it a lot, not because it's like the best, but more so because they're, they just do a lot of good marketing. So just keep that in mind. I'm still not saying that you shouldn't do it, period, because it's a good way to get started, and you don't want like to prevent yourself from, getting that ball rolling. But there are definitely better hosting sites. Oh, and also you need to keep in mind when you do host your website, and Corinne can probably speak on this better, but some of the cheaper versions or cheaper services that you do, what you're doing, you're sharing, what is it, like the hosting? Is that
The
is what
server.
You're sharing server space, yeah.
So the reason why some of these other services are more expensive is because you have a dedicated server. I think, is that how it works?
That's the right term, yeah.
Okay, and so it just reduces the amount of, I guess your site just works better, it runs faster, it's not slowed down due to other people's bandwidth, and Bluehost is definitely, at least their entry, the one that you see all the time on like websites and people are promoting, or like the, I don't know, things like $4 a month thing that they promote, that's a shared server. So that's something to keep in mind too. As your site gets more traffic, you'd want to not be on a shared server, basically.
Right, that makes sense. So like, for example, when I started, I was paying like, I think it was $14.95 a month. And now I'm paying $80 a month because the $14.95 a month doesn't work anymore. I get way too much traffic, and your users are having a really bad experience. And so now it's $80 a month, but the users are not having a bad experience, and it's no longer shared hosting. And when you sign up for these deals, always look and see that they're going to increase exponentially or actually increase a lot, maybe double time the second year because you're getting a deal the first year. So always make sure you read those fine prints. And I think someone had a question that, so I have a Squarespace website.
Oh,
And
Kurt,
have
sorry,
a,
to add on to that real quick.
Yeah.
When you do talk to the customer service people too, also before they make any changes to your website, or to your service or whatever, like if you're talking for any reason, make sure you're confirming what that does to your plan. I spoke to someone on Bluehost. We had some issue, not even issues, sorry. They were recommending something that if I changed my plan, it would make it cheaper, or just it was like a bundle that I didn't have. I was paying for individual. And what I didn't realize is that they signed me up for 2 years with Bluehost. So now we're like kind of stuck with them for I think another like year and a half or so. And you can't get that, you can't cancel that. I think they give you like I think it's like a 10-day before you can cancel. So just keep that in mind whenever you talk to, I mean, almost probably any customer service person, but just like with these things, their goal is to keep you on their service for as long as possible. And I think this kind of goes to what you're about to talk about, Kerwin, with the Squarespace and GoDaddy. They want you to have everything with them.
Exactly.
And whatever, especially when you talk to these customer service people, I mean, that's their whole goal. And I'm sure that's how they're paid, based off of how many people they can sign up and keep longer. So just keep that in mind whenever you're speaking to them. They're going to want you to do, whatever you can do on their site for as long as possible.
Exactly. Now, when the whole internet thing started, you had to keep I think you had to keep the host where you had the domain registered, and they changed that a few years ago. So that's why now if you have to switch anything, they make it really difficult, but they have to allow it. So you have to go to their site, you have to get what they call the name servers, and you have to go over the other side. And so they make it really difficult, but they have to. So to answer that question, no, you do not have to host your website the same place where you have the name. So your Squarespace website can be hosted anywhere. It doesn't have to be hosted with GoDaddy because you bought the domain name from GoDaddy. They have to give you, and there is a way in there that tells you, you just tell them, say, I want to be able to put my domain name elsewhere and to be hosted elsewhere, and they will give you a link, and you can go to that link, and there's instructions on there, because we had to do that for a website that we had. All right, so I'm trying to wrap up by 1, so let's see what we got. Natalie said, thank you for being here. Donna K is answering to those. Oh, Cheryl said she's avoided Bluehost. Yeah, they're a little different. I've not had any good experience with them. Okay, so I think that's it, folks. I don't want to keep you guys longer than 1 o'clock. So just to wrap up, thank you guys so much. We truly appreciate it. This is the first one that we've done, and we wanted to see how it went. And I think it went okay. But and thank you so much, Nadine, for stepping up and doing the hot seats. So I guarantee the next time we have it, we're going to have more hot seat people. And that was good because it gave us an opportunity to answer a lot more questions that are related to that. So with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. Thank you ever so much. The replay will be on the website and also on our YouTube channel. All right. So from BTS Central, Donna K.
Yep.
LJ.
Thanks,
All right. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.